there's heaps of ideas about how to solve the problem, okay? So we know how to build the right kind of houses, we know how to electrify transport, we know how to grow organic food. We've actually got all these solutions, technical solutions if you like, to the problem. One thing I experience is everywhere I go people say, but it's all about psychology, it's all about human behaviour. As if, as a psychologist, I can solve that problem. One of the really big issues is that people are not very good long-term thinkers. And so we tend to think about tomorrow, we might think about next year, might plan a bit into the future, but the concept of actually protecting a planet for our children and grandchildren is just not a very natural, easy thing for us to think about. One of the challenges about climate change in terms of how people think is that it is a very abstract theoretical concept. And what that means is that I can't walk out the door now and say, the globe is warming. And so it's very, very easy for me to just set it aside in my everyday life because it's not right there to confront me. But it's also really easy for me to buy into all sorts of different stories about what global warming is, if it's really happening, if we should really do anything about it, because it's not something that I'm trying to manage in my everyday life. Another problem I think that's really very, very significant is diffusion of responsibility. It's the idea that because there are billions of people that could do something about it, I don't have to be the one to do anything about it. And so everybody just ends up doing nothing about it because they're thinking like that. People are terrified of embarrassing themselves or looking like an idiot, and that really feeds into this diffusion of responsibility thing. I think of it also like voting. You have to think that if nobody voted for the party you want to be in, it would make this humongous difference. If you didn't vote, it wouldn't make any difference. But who's the person that's entitled not to vote? Is it you that's going to be the one that doesn't vote and lets everybody else do it? You've got to kind of twist your thinking around. If I see somebody lying on the side of the road, I will stop, because even though my initial impulse is, there's tons of people that could do that, I think, that's right, they might not, because of the bystander effect. So with climate change, I say that to myself all the time. I say, well, whose responsibility is it? If it's not mine, whose is it? It's all of ours. People carry in their heads these kind of blueprints about who they are and what they've got to do in life. You wake up in the morning, you don't just lie in bed and sort of let life happen. You wake up in the morning, you actually create your life. Some of this is really, really practical, just, the things I do when I get up in the morning. But some of it is kind of more abstract about my values and the things that I'm trying to create in that larger sense. And we're all on the lookout for opportunities to live our lives in these particular ways, and these are things I call identity projects, and other people have talked about as well. People can have a really strongly embedded identity project around it about, say, being carbon conscious, and if you've got that, it's all encompassing because carbon's in every aspect of our lives. You look around the world, you think about how you take transport, you think about how you use energy, you think about the food you eat, you think about composting, you think about all of these kinds of things that are related to it. The stronger that project, the clearer you are that you have that and own it, the more your behaviours are going to be in line with that. If you want to hear my single solution for the future, I think it is in shared identity projects. I think people need these abstract schemas on which to pin their search for a meaningful life, and we all have it. I know it sounds like it's very sort of pop psychology, but it isn't. I mean, it's just embedded in the way people are, and together as groups we do have shared identity projects, like it or not. Like a department at the university has a shared identity project, a shared sense of who we are, what we stand for, what we're trying to achieve. And at the moment, it's around things like giving students great education, publishing psychological research, all of that kind of thing. There seems to me there's enormous potential to have shared identity projects around carbon consciousness, protecting the planet for future generations, all of that kind of thing. If you as an organisation have this project of, we are going to be sustainable, we are going to do our bit for protecting this planet, we are going to communicate the message, all of that kind of thing, it seems to me we've got the possibility for real change. I mean, small organisations can do it, bigger organisations can do it, cities can do it, countries can do it, we can do it as a globe, and it's incredibly cool in terms of people feeling part of something. It creates senses of belonging, senses of meaning all over the place, and it might be the sort of thing that actually turns around this situation.